everything, doesn't it, Catherine? Because
it does.
It changes how they want to market. They're used to the big numbers. They got to get it out there. So they're looking for sort of more direct routes to the retail market. And it's really cutting out to the consumer. So they're really, really cutting out a lot of salon business in moving professional product to the marketplace.
Yeah,
right?
In fact, just talking about that, one of the biggest distributors in North America, in the U.S., just launched their own
online consumer store, right, for the consumer. And that's really, really, scary for all of us, because we've had such a lock on the professional beauty industry, right? But what it does, and that's why it creates a skeptical consumer, because when they come into the salon and we've got these products for sale, they're saying, well, I can just get this at the drugstore now, or
I can go online and
or I can go online, or whatever it is. So pricing becomes an issue, all of that. And of course, a more crowded marketplace, because again, these giant manufacturers all want a piece of our action. So it is changing, and we have to take a look at what it really means on how we're doing business now, but what we're going to do tomorrow. And we've got to start putting on our thinking caps on what we're going to do tomorrow.
That's what this is all about. How do we change it? So really, what's a niche? And why do I need one? Those are the two questions that we are going to talk about today, and we'll hopefully give you some answers to. So what's a niche? And one of the things we've got on our next slide is a definition of basically what a niche is. It's the practice of finding and exploiting a narrowly defined but deep and lucrative specialist market.
And I like the word lucrative, meaning lucre.
Well, there has to be some money in it. You're not going to go after something that is basically going to be a loss leader for you. But what we are seeing a lot more of these days it's a fragmentation of our industry. So, we talk about the changing marketplace. We have a fragmentation going on in the beauty industry.
Yeah.
And when I talk about fragmentation, I mean, you've all seen it. You have all seen what's going on. We have brow bars. We have
lash bars,
eyelashes. Yep. We have color bars, strictly for color.
We have cutting rooms, strictly for cutting.
In the spa, people have honed it right down to med. They're going to do med spa. We have facial spas.
And we have a mani and pedi spas, all of it, or we have man spas.
We have men's only salons. That's a big thing that we're starting to see.
We've got the blow dry bars.
Yep. So when we talk about, the fragmentation of the industry, these people and a lot of people that have opened up these are large corporations. Yeah. They're not small business people. Like the other day I went into our mall, and right in the center of the mall, wide open, was a brow bar.
Yeah, it's really
and all it does is do your brows, sitting right out there in the open. And I thought, great, more competition.
Just what we need. And the other one right next to that is a little facial kiosk. Again, right out in the open, selling facial products, but also doing a facial right there it's sort of in the center of the mall.
Yeah, well, forget that. I'm just not all over
and
that.
What about the little kiosk that's selling, the hair extensions and the flat irons? Again,
right
going after our professional market, right?
So that's what's happening in the industry. We're seeing that kind of fragmentation. Andy said, "How is that legal by state and board standards?" Every state has different regulations. In Canada, we have different regulations
for every province.
Yeah. So, where they can take advantage of these things, that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of, maybe a loophole in what the standards are. But I'm telling you, they're out there and they're happening.
For sure. For even example, you guys, you got to take a look even at salons versus chair rental. Like in parts of the states, chair rental is illegal. There's no legalities involved in it, yet it's such a huge thing on the West Coast. So, you really need to be aware not only of your state regulations, but also municipality, because municipalities, have certain bylaws, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got to think smarter.
So let's move right along. The why. Why do we want to be a niche?
Well, I think this slide really says it all. It really does help you stand out from your competition. And one of the things that, we talked briefly about this last week, but one of my favorite things is a little deli that we walk by all the time, and they advertise handcrafted sandwiches. It's one of my favorite marketing tools because, let's face it, you guys, all sandwiches are handmade, but they're honing in on their sandwiches and they're making it stand out. Like, doesn't that sound fantastic? I want a handcrafted sandwich right now.
I haven't seen a machine-made one yet. So anyway, and one of the other examples I gave last week for anybody that wasn't on the call last week is an orthodontist in the city where my own salon and spa is. And this orthodontist, wanted to stand out from the crowd, and he decided just to market Invisalign braces. Those are the braces that you can't really see. You cannot see them. And he knew that would really expand. It would limit his market, but at the same time, it would expand it. Because a lot of professional business people, they don't want to have a mouthful of steel braces, metal braces, but they would put these Invisalign on. So it took his market from mostly children up to a completely different level. This man he had one practice, one office when he started this. And I believe he has 4 now. My daughter is in the dentistry industry, and I was asking her, he has 4. He has 3 in our city, and he has 1 in one of the other cities that we in Canada. So by absolutely honing in on what it was that he wanted to do, he made his own niche, and everything he does in marketing is he markets to the Invisalign braces. So his marketing is less complicated, and really it can be less expensive when you target a niche industry segment, because you're not trying to be all things to all people.
Yeah, in fact, Catherine, I think your own salon is such a great example about what we're talking about, because, you have an enormous salon and spa. It's like 6,500 square feet, which is very large. And you are really all things to all people, but you do not market that way. You've created niches within your business to draw people and consumers to you, and that has worked in your favor. Maybe you could just share a little bit with that. Let's talk about what you've done in each category.
So we've really taken a business that is we are all things to all people maybe, and honed in on the pieces that we really want to grow. So we are 3 businesses within one location. We have a hair loss business. We have a salon and spa, and we have a salon. But we do all things in each of those areas. But we have honed in on one thing in each of the areas that we work on. Obviously, in the salon, we have honed in on color. We want to be known as the color salon.
And I'll say that there's more dollars in color and chemicals.
And we are chasing the money. That's what we're about. It's the fastest route to the money.
Here, here.
And in our spa, we have branded ourselves as giving the best facials in town. And trust me, we have worked really hard on that, and we give great facials. And our facial numbers talk for themselves. But when we market the spa, it's not that we don't market other things. We're very limited on what we spend. We put the dollars into marketing our facials. because facial business brings me retail dollars as well.
Here, here. In fact, some of your retail dollars are staggering because of what they do in the spa. So it's pretty impressive. But you also have an amazing boutique within the store as well.
Yeah, and you're right. That's the fourth actually area. We do retail and boutique items, and again, we don't do a lot of marketing for our boutique, simply because when we market and we bring lots of people in, we see between 3,000 and 4,000 people a month through our doors. That's our market. Right. Our boutique is right there.
Because what happens is it becomes the add-on sale. So, hey, we like that. We love the add-on sale.
And in our hair loss center, we cater to everyone, but we have decided to really focus on women. We focus a lot on women going through cancer, and so that's where we put our dollars.
When it comes to marketing.
When it comes to marketing. So we have several niches within our business that we market to, but we don't try and be all things to all people.
At one time.
No.
Exactly.
It's actually impossible.
You got it.
So that is the why.
Exactly. And I hope you all sort of understand that. And the last one is the how. How do you create a niche for yourself? And that's kind of interesting. Well, number one, you definitely want to identify what you are truly passionate about within your business.
Yeah, and I have a little story about that. One of my co-owners in my business, she is absolutely passionate about facials and about the product line that we happen to use. She is, immersed in it. And one of the things that has created is, we do, that is our target, that's our niche in our spa. And this woman has created this and helped grow it because of her passion. She is someone, I'll just share a little number with you. One day last week, she did over $500 in service sales, but she did $730 in retail sales.
That's one day.
In one day. And, it's just that she is passionate about what she's speaking about. She's passionate about her client's skin, and that comes across. So, she is really good, but she's really good at facials, and she trains well. And that's why we have a great team with doing facials, because of her passion. So, it's great to say, are you passionate about it? But really stand back and think about, am I good at it?
Exactly, because that's the next thing. And if it's something that you truly love, you may have to do some extra research. You may have to hone your skills on what it is that you're passionate about. And that's a great thing, because when you get really, really good at something, it's amazing what it actually draws to you.
Yeah. Now, you could easily say I'm passionate about extensions, but, I'm really passionate about them, but I'm not really all that good at them. So if that's something that you want to make and grow as a niche, then just take some more training.
Exactly. Get out there and find out where it is that you're going to get the training you need to excel at a particular area of your craft.
And last but not least, in this, does it have the potential to make you serious money? Now, God bless anybody that wants to have a brow bar. But I'll tell you, I think that's you can make really good money and it's quick, but there's a lot involved with, doing the number of brows that you need to do every day in order to make a viable living.
For sure. I think like a brow bar within a salon is a fantastic idea, because it's a wonderful add-on service.
But in saying that, there is Anastasia of Hollywood. Don't know if you've all heard about her, and she grew her business strictly through brows. But again, she was really good at it. She took it up to an art form.
Oh, was she browsing through the industry?
She elevated this to an art form.
Exactly.
And got herself to a point where she could charge really high prices to do her craft. And she has parlayed that into
serious money.
She has her own product line, and it's all to do with brows. I think she's branched out a little bit more now, but I mean, that's how she started off. So, you know, in me saying that that's not something I would be passionate about, you have to look at, if you're doing brows and only charging $10 for every brow you do, it doesn't really have the potential to make you serious money. If you're an Anastasia and you're charging $50 to $100 to do a set of brows,
well, there's a different story.
That's very different. So the how, identify what you're passionate about. Ask yourself truly, are you good at it? And does it have the potential to make you
muted?
What happened there? I hope you can all still hear us.
Can you still hear us? Because it just said yes. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Just get a little nervous when something clicks up and goes unmuted. So how do you go about it? This is the next phase to the how. So start identifying yourself as the expert.
Right. And you can become an expert within your own salon or spa. It's pretty easy, but here's what you have to do. It's going back to the how, is training yourself to be that. And here's one of the things that I found in becoming an expert. Like, for example, Catherine and I are really management consultants, but we have created a niche for ourselves by working specifically in the professional beauty industry. That's our niche. And to make ourselves experts, you cannot believe the amount of training and resources we have been studying and learning and practicing. But it's all available. So start identifying yourself as the expert.
Yeah, and another great example of that is the founder of Vagaro. He's a computer engineer, and he could do so many different businesses. He's
brilliant.
Yeah, he's very brilliant. And so he could go on to do all kinds of different businesses, but he has decided that he is going to focus on the salon industry, and make this product. He's going to be the expert in the salon industry. So instead of going too broad, he's definitely narrowed his niche in the salon industry. I mean, we're so grateful that he's done that, because he's changing the face of how we do business so much in the professional industry. He's created incredible programs for us, and truly an amazing guy. Yeah, so. And it's just the tip of the iceberg right now. So in saying that, start talking about yourself as the expert. Create marketing collateral. So if you want to bill yourself as let's say a facial expert, facialist, then that's what all of your marketing collateral should be pointing to. Right. And by collateral, of course, we mean like your brochures, your cards, your taglines, et cetera. Everything that draws people towards you is really your marketing collateral. Yeah. And, one of the things that one of the people that I have worked with over the years started out as she rented a chair, but even when she rented her own chair, when she was a booth renter, she talked about herself as a curly hair specialist. Everything she did, all the marketing that she did, and she marketed herself like you would not believe, even as an independent, talked about curly hair specialist. And she has grown herself from just her. She now has her own salon. All she talks about, all she posts on Facebook are tips and tricks about curly hair. Yeah, and it's amazing. And of course, word of mouth, and when it comes to curly hair, just spreads and spreads like wildfire. Everybody wants to go to an expert. So the next phase of the how is gather testimonials. So find, clients that love you, that you are working in your niche with, and ask them to write a testimonial for you. A testimonial is incredibly powerful. Even do like a little YouTube video with them, from your phone or whatever, and get them to share their experience in working with you, because it's very, very powerful. And get pictures. Yeah. a picture's worth 1,000 words.
So true.
So educate through your website, blogs, Facebook. So when I'm talking about website, blogs, Facebook, again, everything points to what it is that you are making, what your niche is. So again, in the case of Nadine, the curly haired stylist,
yep.
Everything from her website, every time she blogs, on her Facebook, it's always about curly hair. So tips and tricks for curly hair. So everything points to what it is that your niche is. And then don't be afraid to give strong guarantees.
Yeah, I think so often in our industry, we're so afraid to, stand behind our work in case somebody comes back. But you'd be surprised by guaranteeing your work how little of it actually comes back, because it's something that people love. They feel empowered by a guarantee.
They do. Absolutely. That's what people are looking for now, actually.
I also think that what it says is I feel so good about my work that I am willing to guarantee it. I'm willing to guarantee that you are going to be so happy with what I do. The other thing that I find that a guarantee does is it eliminates problems before they even happen.
Yeah.
Right. So you capture a problem before it becomes a problem.
Absolutely. And, if you have any questions about guarantees, I would be happy to answer that offline. You can
send us an email.
So not on the webinar. So we'll keep going because it's into half an hour, and I think we were just about in the same place last time. So what is the payoff?
Well, this is kind of a great thing because in the end, we were saying it needs to be a lucrative experience for you, right? So people are actually willing to pay more for their perceived experts.
Absolutely. Just think about, I use this as an example lots because I think we should think of ourselves more professionally. So I use doctors when I give this example.
Oh, I think that's a good example.
Because you can take a general practitioner.
Yes.
Who, probably makes a really good living, or you can take somebody that goes in and specializes. I have a nephew who's a nephrologist.
A nephrologist.
He's a nephrologist, and he is a kidney specialist.
For sure, and dermatologist.
Yeah, and so they actually command more money than a general practitioner.
Absolutely. And I think that that's true in every single category. I mean, as I said, for example, there's 100 different categories for business consultants.
Yeah.
But you'll find that different people specialize in different industries because that's what they immerse themselves in, and they become experts. So I said, Catherine and I are experts within the beauty industry.
So, and I apologize because I jumped ahead.
Oh, for goodness sakes, Catherine. Slip of the finger there.
My finger was just slipping by too fast. I'm trying to not keep you guys on here. Let me just see where we are. We're at the how.
And you want to go to, yes,
9. So I wanted to share with you some of the niches within our industry. And I know we've talked some about it, but I'd like to expand on it a little bit more. So we talked about the curly hair specialist.
Yeah, and my big one is fine and thinning hair, because one of the things that I've definitely seen throughout the industry is that, well, first of all, 75% of the consumers in North America, for example, have fine and thinning hair. And yet rarely do we see anybody specializing in fine and thinning hair. But there's definitely a way to cut fine hair. And there's definitely something that you can do for those who have thinning hair. And why aren't we doing that?
And speaking of that, I don't know if anybody's noticed some of the marketing from, the big Procter & Gamble and all of these giants within our industry. They are starting to hone in on scalp health.
Yes.
Because scalp health is really the problem with fine and thinning hair. A lot of it can be genetic, but we can head it off with correct diagnosis and treatment early on. Trichology is the science of...
yes, and it's something that you're going to be hearing more and more about, because again, we're looking at trends and what's going to happen in the future is, and that is something actually we were talking about just as we were going to start our webinar, is the research that we're not doing enough of to find out what's happening in trends within our own greater beauty industry.
So instead of, allowing the giants to hone in on this market, there is a space for anyone out there that's interested in fine and thinning hair to get more information about trichology.
And Vicky just asked us, niches in our industry, are those what you've seen or has this been researched? Both, Nikki. We never come to the table without doing our research, but also because we're out and about in the industry every single day, this is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and I know people in the industry who have actually created these niches for themselves and have been very successful. Pregnancy massage, there's a woman that I've worked with in Australia who she was a massage therapist, and she was, trying to think, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? She honed in on pregnancy massage, massaging pregnant women, and she became an expert in it. And she has grown a chain of massage studios that all they cater to are pregnant women. So again, golf massage. If you live in a climate where people come to have golf vacations, or you can golf all year round,
for sure. Hey, what about, the après ski massage? There's all sorts of categories.
Lots of things. As I said, you don't have to, completely eliminate everyone else, but this is a market that you might want to capture.
We're talking about honing in here, like really narrowing your marketing skills so that you're attracting a specific segment. It's not cutting out everybody else. So please don't think that we're trying to cut everybody else out of your business. What we want you to really think about is honing in on expertise.
And Vicki asked another question. She's asked a few actually. But are these the Facebook or blog keywords that we should use? If you are going to look at a niche, yes, you have to absolutely know the keywords that you are going to put in, and you're going to be fairly consistent with them. And there's different things that people look for. And on Google Analytics, you can actually go in and do a search and find out what it is that people are looking for in your area. So again, that's all much larger than we can do here. But I'm just giving you the idea because I believe that we need to become experts in an area and not try and be all things to all people. I have seen some very savvy business people lately that have grown men's salons. They're building men's salons, men only.
And I don't know whether this is really going to reflect my age, but back in the 70s, unisex salons were the huge trends. All of a sudden, men were coming out of the barber shops and heading into the salons to get their hair done, and they were called unisex.
Yeah.
You probably barely remember, Catherine.
Oh, no, I remember. Trust me.
So, and now, of course, we're seeing men's salons, like high-end salons, and some of them are incredibly beautiful. And they're becoming more and more successful because
they're focused on
exactly.
men.
And I hate to tell you this, but right now the number one retail product in the over-the-counter product sales is just for men. Which is a men's blending hair color that you can do in like 5 minutes at home. So, men want their hair done. So men's salons are hugely successful.
Very much. And Susie said they've been seeing a lot of lash extension providers. I happen to know a lady, again, she developed a really great business over in Australia, and she was a spa, all things to all people, and then she decided she loved doing extensions, so that's where she went. She became, she was very successful in her lash business, and then once she got to a point where, that's what people knew her for, she went into something, she decided she could take on another niche because she'd grown one niche and she could go into another one, and she started with something they call fat cavitation machines.
What?
It's for breaking down fat.
Oh, right. Yes.
So, there's so many things out there that you can actually go into and make it your own niche.
And again, Vicki, razor shave, facials, backshals. I love that word. That's awesome for men. Men's salon is very broad. You're right. It's very broad. You can narrow that down within a salon.
And something I really believe is totally overlooked is what about, taking a niche. I have a client that, in fact, I talk to her every week, and she is in Brooklyn, New York. And she only does African-American women, mostly business women, and her focus is on hair health.
I love it.
And that's everything she talks about is hair health. And that's what I'm working with her to expand on that hair health aspect of her business. But only African-American women. So what is wrong with doing, making your niche Asian women?
For sure, because this is one of the largest segments of the market in the United States. Hispanic is rapidly taking over. In fact, I think you've got a stat for us on that, don't you?
Yeah, and one of my business gurus marketing gurus is a man called Dan Kennedy, and was reading one of his newsletters, and he had some interesting facts that I thought I would share with you. By 2040, non-Hispanic whites will be in the minority in the U.S. And what's even more interesting is 68% of all Hispanics are under age 40. So again, if you're targeting a niche, you have to know what's happening within the niche. And the other thing is Asian households outspend all others.
And I love that.
Yeah. Follow the money.
And here on the west coast of Canada, of course, we have an exceptionally large Asian population, right? So it's really important that you really understand the demographics in your area and what's happening with it. Now, Vicki's also asked us about, resources for research. To be honest, if you even just start with Google and Google beauty trends, demographic trends, and just start seeing what comes up. You'll be amazed at where one link will lead you into. It's pretty fascinating.
And just keep your eyes and ears open for what is going on.
Because what you'll find too is when it comes to, particularly in the beauty industry, when you're talking about trends, there are companies that specialize in developing trends, and they are also the ones that really determine what is going to happen in the beauty industry. But Google it. I think you'll find a lot of information out there.
So, sorry, and we did that already because I've jumped ahead. So we talked about the payoff, and really this is what it's all about. People will definitely pay more for perceived experts. Again, we set ourselves up as giving the best facial in town, and that's what people come to us for. They love our facials, and people talk about them, and we post that, testimonials. And credibility occurs when you are visible in your niche. So it lends a certain credibility. So when you become visible, and that is, again, we talked about blogging, educating, understanding your niche, and putting yourself out there. Does that make sense to everybody?
And
Aileen, what do you want to say?
Well, Vicki's also shared a link for the beautytrends.com, which I think is, thanks, Vicki. That's awesome.
God, you're quick.
Yeah, are you ever? So I hope you guys can see that and catch up on that. It's amazing the information that is available to us online now, because really at the tip of our fingers is all this information coming at us, right? All this learning. So many of the manufacturers now are putting education online, how to do a new cut, or how to do new color placement. Education is everywhere you look. So get out there and get yourself to be a perceived expert. Find a way to create expertise within your salon. Again, one of the things that we're seeing more and more of is color experts within the salon, where one stylist does nothing but color, and usually works with another stylist who specializes in cutting. And, you know, from a client point of view, how wonderful is that, having two stylists determining, well, I want this color to fall here because I want the cut to reflect that. And it's amazing because all of a sudden, oh my gosh, you know, like, I think that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. And, you know, within whatever niche you decide to look at and move towards, just make sure you are well educated in it. Always keep educating yourself about upcoming trends in that niche. Can you imagine, like, just if all you did was all you did was fine and thinning hair, then you can educate yourself about that all day, every day, and nobody can touch you when it comes to talking about the reasons for fine and thinning hair.
I know. In fact, the fabulous stylist who does my hair, you know, within the salon, she promotes herself as their fine and thinning hair expert, and she is fully booked because she can't believe how the word of mouth spreads, and that's her word. In fact, a couple of the other stylists within that salon are asking, or saying, well, we want to be fine and thinning hair specialists because it's drawing so many people to her.
It's just talking the talk. And being, what's the word I'm looking for?
I think being accessible.
No, that wasn't the word. Confident.
Oh,
being confident in what you're speaking about. You know, I, in the salon, was a great colorist. I was a good colorist. I don't feel I was such a great cutter, but I'll tell you, I talked my talk, and I was confident about my color. So let's get on to the last point, because marketing becomes less complicated.
Right. And you start thinking about why, because, you know, when you're honing in on something, it makes it really easy. You really narrow your focus. And again, it's not cutting out anybody out of your business. It's just really making it specialized. And of course, you know, I do love the fine and thinning hair expert, because so much of our population really is fine and thinning hair.
Yeah, absolutely. And anti-aging, you know, the bubble right now is of population are baby boomers, and we are all interested in what can I do to keep myself looking younger.
Absolutely. I mean, my birthday's coming up this week, people.
That's right, Aileen.
But look at me, I look fabulous.
They can't see you, dear.
Oh, well.
So, you know, does this make sense to everybody? If you could just answer us. We just really wanted to present this because I really believe it is such a growing trend in our industry, and I want you to be on the leading edge of that curve, not, you know,
exactly,
not following.
Exactly. Like, we've got to think forward. We've got to think ahead of what's happening in our business and really take control of it, rather than allowing the trends to control us and being the last ones to jump into the pond when it's already been taken. Let's get out there and be number one in our field.
Absolutely. Hear to that. So again, this was our...
Look at happy birthdays are coming in.
I just said that so you'd all say happy birthday.
Yeah, I love that.
So I hope you found your time with us to be
useful. And here we are, you guys. We are www.theprofitablesalonowner.com. Catherine and I do put out a free newsletter every Monday right now, and we hope you'll join us. Today's newsletter was on your retail shelves and how to make your inventory profitable. So get on there and check it out. And we are always at the end of an email, info@theprofitablesalonowner.com. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And as you can see from our picture, we're holding up copies of our book because Catherine and I are the best-selling authors of 7 Essential Strategies to Transform Your Salon Business, which of course is also available on our website.
And we always will bring you current information, and we like to push the envelope. I really love to push the envelope so that you understand a little bit more about our business, and that you do not have to be all things to all people. You have the choice. So as we say that, we'll close for the day.
And thank you, Vicki. Thank you, everybody. You were awesome. And if you've, Vicki, I'm not sure what you mean by 20 for the second time, so send us an email. Okay? Take care, everybody. Have a great, successful, and profitable week. See you next month.
Bye. Oh, she meant you're only 40.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. Bye.